Alright, so what is the exact dollar amount you need to start setting up a Shopify dropshipping business and then start making return? Firstly guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Courtne Marland. On this channel we do a lot about online entrepreneurship, whether it's dropshipping, SMMA, affiliate marketing and some other things. So if you're not already subscribed, I'd recommend go checking the previous videos first and then subscribing and coming back. Now, I'm making this video because I think a ton of people are, sending me messages and stuff on Instagram, and they're really pumped up. It's like, it's cool, it's a cool business to set up, and then people are like, can I do it on my phone, or like, how much money do I need? Which is a very, very valid question. But I do want to just point out, because I don't think a lot of people are understanding this. This is an actual business, right? Just because it's online and it's done with like your laptop and some phones and stuff, doesn't mean that, you don't have any monthly expenses. You don't have startup costs. It would literally be like, I guarantee you guys, like I'm really daring you, go into a bank and say, I want to set up a restaurant, or I want to set up this physical store. I've got no money, I've got no game plan, no experience, and no one to like show me what to do, but you should give me money anyway to go and do it, right? The bank's gonna look at you like an idiot, and you got no chance. It's the same thing. Now, yes, the costs of setting up an online business, dropshipping in particular, is less because you don't have inventory. It is, right? That's just a fact. And yes, the returns are very often much higher than a physical business, because you can go worldwide instead of just in your little area, and you can do a lot of other things. That's fine. That's the world that we live in today. We live in a digital world. But just because those things are true doesn't mean it's like, you have like no startup costs or anything. All right. So to get into it, the way that I want to break this down first is into startup and then kind of your recurring monthly costs. All right. So the first thing that's going to happen when you start up is you're going to need to pay some sort of hosting service. Right, so I think I mentioned it in the free training that I have, but on my YouTube channel, but you're going to want to start off with something like Shopify. Shopify is what I recommend. It's what a lot of people use. I use it for all of my stores and it works perfectly. That is going to be $29, or I think it's $29.99. So let's just call it $30 a month, all right, a month. Now, if you click the link below in this video, I've got a link that you can use and you'll get the first 14 days free, but let's just disregard that and let's just talk about $30 a month, all right? So now before you've even started, that's $30 gone, all right? Now you're gonna need a domain. So a domain is like your the name of your store.com, all right? You're gonna need to buy that. Now, that's not monthly, that's yearly. So let's just assume that you're only gonna do this for a couple months, because by then you should be making enough money so that it doesn't matter. But that is still going to be $13, $14 regardless of what you do. And obviously the price does depend on where you buy it from. I think if you buy it from GoDaddy, which is, I believe, it's where I buy all my domains, and I checked for you just now, I think it's $13. Does fluctuate, but let's just call it $13, all right? So that's $43, all right, startup cost before you've even started. Done. Now let's go into apps. This is one of those things that you don't necessarily need, and generally most of the apps have free trials, and a lot of the apps also have like a free plan or something like that, or there's a really good app and there's another app that kind of tried to copy them and do a little bit of the same thing, but they free and they paid. So this is something where you can maybe cut corners, but as you get into it, you're going to want to get some really good apps, because that's going to increase your conversion. Right, so it's going to overall increase the amount of money that you make, and it's going to bring customers back to the store who came, you spent money marketing to them. Now they may have came and they added to their cart, and then they initiated checkout and they started filling their address and they did all of that, and then for whatever reason they left. You're going to want to have apps and stuff in place to bring those people back to actually get the purchase, right? Because you don't want to just be missing those purchases. And if you actually look at the statistics, majority of sales online come from those type of abandoned carts, where someone's come, added it to their cart, they've thought about it and then left, and then someone's brought them back and then they have purchased. So you want to have all these things in place. Now, different apps different charges and different stuff, but let's just do a fair number of, I would just say, let's do $15, $20. Let's do $20 a month, all right? That's very, very basic. So now you have the $29, $30 for Shopify, you have your $13 domain, and you have your $20 apps, all right? So if you do that math, it's literally, it's 30 plus the 20, which is 50, plus the 14, so you're now looking at $64, okay, before you have even started. Now the apps in Shopify are going to go every single month, and the domain is only going to be a once-off kind of price. Now I know a lot of people will ask, if you do play around with Shopify, they do have other pricing, so they have got like 2 more expensive per month pricing, which gives you a lot more statistics and some other stuff. If you're just starting, you don't need it, especially if you're not making a good amount of money. A lot of those statistics and stuff you are not going to find useful until you start making a fair amount of money, so I just go with the lower tier one. Alright, so now we've worked out $64, okay? Now, here comes the biggest expense of them all, which is the marketing. Because you can have all of these things set up. You can have an amazing store, amazing product, everything's working well, but if no one comes to the store, no one's going to buy, so effectively nothing's happening, right? So the most important element is the marketing, but it's also the most expensive element. And if you think about this logically, a lot of very, very big brands, and the one that I'll use as the best example is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola literally spends billions and billions and billions of dollars every single year on marketing that they don't expect to get much return back. They just want their brand there. So, you know, Coca-Cola will sponsor like some massive football team or some massive event. That will cost them millions to do. Coca-Cola has literally like billboards with just their logo on. Or when you go to movies and stuff, you see ads all the time about Coca-Cola. That costs billions and billions of dollars. And they're not really trying to make money off it. They just want their brand to be all over the place. Now, you're not in that stage, but it just shows you that the biggest expense is always going to be your marketing. Alright, now there's 2 types of things that come into it and 2 methods that you can do. And I did make a previous video on which one is better, but you get Instagram influencers and Facebook ads. Just a quick rundown, Instagram influencers is paying someone with a big following to make a story where you can do the swipe up to shop of your product or post, and then Facebook ads is obviously running ads on Facebook as well as Instagram. It's very important to remember that Instagram is owned by Facebook, so when you run an ad through Facebook Business Manager, you can also run an ad on Instagram. Okay, now Facebook advertising is very expensive if you have no money. If you have no money at all, I wouldn't recommend going with Facebook, because you need to spend a sufficient amount of money until you get data, until you get results, right? I would say you need at least $20 a day, okay? So over a week, that's $140 over a week. Now, it's important again to understand that yes, you're spending $140, but that $140 might equal $300, $400, $500 in sales, okay? But then once you take your product cost out of it and stuff, you may even make a little bit of a profit, which I would recommend that you just push back into your business. But when you're just starting out, if you have a great product and stuff, it can work. But you have to understand, if you've never done this before, you've got no experience, you've got nothing much going on, you're most likely not going to be profitable in your first time. So it's more than likely that you're not going to make a profit, you're going to make a loss. And you have to keep spending that $20 a day, $20 a day, $20 a day. Every time you change certain things and you optimize and you try new things, but it's still an expenditure that just keeps going and going and going and going. Okay, now Instagram influencers, you might pay someone like $20, $30 to post a story for 24 hours. That can go both ways. It can go terrible in the way that no one swipes up or their audience doesn't have any money and you make nothing. Or they could swipe up and you could make a very, very big profit. What I'd recommend you then do is take that profit and actually put it into your business again. Okay, now there's a couple of things here. Facebook ads is a very, very good thing to do because you're building a skill. Alright, it's going to allow you to make money every single day, every single month, consistently. Alright, and it's a lot easier to set up and organize. Instagram influencers are different. You got to message them, you got to debate about the fee, then you got to pay them and watch them that, you know, they take your money and they don't do anything and like kind of steal it and run away. Plus, are they posting the right thing at this right time? You got all of that stuff going on. And then once you've paid them, and if it went really, really well, you kind of lost, because you can't really pay them again because their audience has already seen the ad, so they've already been tapped out. Yes, you could maybe do it 2 or 3 times, but after that, you're going to have to move on to another influencer. And you may have one that works really well, but your next 5 completely flat out fail. And then you're back to 0 again. So you have to think about those things. Right? So to get down to it, I would recommend at least $500 in total kind of costs and stuff before you can start making money. But here's the other thing that comes into. When you think of, the nice way to think about this is if you're trying to open a business with a bank, because they're going to want the upfront capital, right? We just discussed that's 500. The other thing that banks do when they look at you is, does this guy know what he's doing? Is he going to take this money and like completely burn through it and just stuff it up and make a loss? Or does he have skills? Does he have something behind him that will help him to make this a success? This is no different. Guys, there's a lot of different elements that go into that. There's Facebook marketing, which is a big skill. There's product descriptions, there's ad copy, there's images, there's setting up stores, there's all these different things. There's email sequences, there's pricing of products. These are all separate skills. So if you walk into there and you've got like nothing behind you, you're just going to burn through that money. You're not going to make much of it back. Now there's, yes, on YouTube you can find tons of very free valuable content. That's fine. I did that for a long time. The problem with that is generally you've got videos about different things which leave out certain stuff, and then another video covers something different, and then in your head you're like meshing together a whole lot of different content. Generally, if you're watching this, you must be watching other people who also do the same thing. So now you've got multiple people, multiple ideas, and it just becomes a mess. Alright, so I recommend you either, I don't have a course, so you can't buy mine. I don't really agree with them at the moment, but you can buy an online course, or you can go for mentorships. So mentorships is if you pay someone who knows what they're doing to teach you step by step how to get from wherever you are to, you know, a 6, 5, or even just a 5-figure store if you're starting off. But that's a cost, because they have accrued a valuable skill to be able to do that. So that skill would have cost them money, time, so they're going to charge you. And it depends who you ask. If I would kind of say, if anyone's charging you below like $800 for something like this, they either are not making a lot of money themselves, or maybe they don't exactly know what they're talking about and they're just trying to make some quick cash. Because it doesn't make sense, because it's time. For example, if you message me, and let's just say I take you on as a mentorship student, I have to teach you certain things. It's time. They've got to message you. You know, it's all these things that come into it. So if anyone's charging you less than like $800 or anything like that, I would be very, very sketchy about what they're kind of doing. Make sure that they're validated and stuff. Otherwise, there's tons of courses that you can go and get. Hopefully you get a good one. Books, you can't really read books on this stuff because it's so new. You'll find it very hard to find books. Googling and stuff is another good resource, but again, it's mashing together a whole lot of information instead of it just being there in one. But these are all separate costs, so kind of think about that. Say $500 in costs of the store plus some money on education. Now you could rush into it with no education, right? With no like training, no plan, no course, no whatever, and just go spend that whole $500. It could work out really, really well. You could, you know, make a ton of money and then put it back into the business and then make even more money. But it could go that you spent 500, you lose all of it, and you make nothing. All right, and then, you know, what's the point? So yeah, I just wanted to make this video because essentially I think I needed to point out that this is an actual business. It's not like something where you just type a couple stuff on your laptop and then, you know, you got your phone. It's an actual business, and as soon as you start thinking about it like that, I think you probably even start seeing more results, because a lot of it has to do with working out, like if I'm going to spend X amount on ads, I need to get, you know, X amount back before I make a profit? So I hope that kind of cleared it up. I know lots of people have been asking me that question on Instagram. If you're not already subscribed, as I said, do so. We'll try and put together as much free content and stuff in one place. So you definitely want to be subscribed so you can see all of that. And I will check you guys in tomorrow's video.